Complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 1, Section 4, The Gita, Lecture 3. Lecture delivered in San Francisco on May 29, 1900. Arjun asks, you just advised action, and yet you uphold knowledge of Brahman as the highest form of life. Krishna, if you think that knowledge is better than action, why do you tell me to act? Sri Krishna said, from ancient times, these two systems have come down to us. The Sankhya philosophy advanced the theory of knowledge, the yogis advanced the theory of work. But none can attain to peace by renouncing action. Krishna says, from ancient time, these two systems have come down to us. First, the Sankhya philosophy advanced the theory of knowledge, and yoga is advanced the theory of work. But none can attain to peace by renouncing action. None in this life can stop activity even for a moment. Nature qualities, that is gunas, will make him act. He who stops his activities and at the same time is still thinking about them attends to nothing, he only becomes a hypocrite. But he who, by the power of his mind, gradually brings his sense organs under control, employing them in work, that man is better. Therefore, do thou work. Even if you have known the secret that you have no duty, that you are free, still you have to work for good of others. Because whatever a great man does, ordinary people will also do. If a great man who has attained peace of mind and freedom ceases to work, then all the rest without that knowledge and peace will try to imitate him, and thus confusion would arise. Behold, Arjun, there is nothing that I do not possess, and nothing that I want to acquire, and yet I continue to work. If I stop work for a moment, the whole universe would be destroyed. That which the ignorant do with desire for results and gain, let the wise do without any attachment, without any desire for results and gain. Even if you have knowledge, do not disturb the child's like faith of ignorant. On the other hand, go down to their level and gradually bring up them up. That is very powerful idea, and it has become the idea of India. That is why you can see a great philosopher doing its into a temple and worship images. That is why you can see a great philosopher going into the temple and worshipping images. It is not hypocrisy. Later on, we read what Krishna says, even those who worship other deities are really worshipping me. It is God incarnation whom man is worshipping. Would God be angry if you called him by the wrong name? He would not. He would be no God at all. Cannot you understand that whatever a man has in his own heart is God? Even if he worships a stone, what of that? We will understand more clearly if we once get rid of the idea that religion consists of doctrine or consists in doctrine. One idea of religion has been that the whole world was born because Adam ate the apple and there is no way of escape. Believe in Jesus Christ in certain men's death. But in India, there is quite a different idea. There, religion means realization, nothing else. It does not matter whether one approaches the destination in the carriage with four horses, in the electric car, or rolling on the ground. The goal is the same. For the Christian, the problem is how to escape the wrath of a terrible God. For the Indians, it is how to become what they really are, to regain their lost selfhood. Have you realized that you are spirit? When you say, I do, what is meant by that? This lump of flesh, called the body or spirit, the infinite, ever blessed, effulgent, immortal. You may be the greatest philosopher, but as long as you have the idea that you are the body, you are no better than the little worm crawling under your foot. No excuse for you. So much the worse for you that you know all the philosophies and all the same time think you are the body. Body, gods. That is what you are in that religion. Religion is realization of spirit as spirit. What are we doing now? Just the opposite, realizing spirit as matter. Out of the immortal God, we manufacture that and matter. Out of death, dead, out of dead, dull matter, we manufacture spirit. If you can realize Brahman, if you can realize Brahman by standing on your head or on one foot or by worshipping 5,000 gods with three heads each, welcome to it. Do it any way you can. Nobody has any right to say anything. Therefore, Krishna says, if your method is better and higher, you have no business to say that another man's method is bad. However wicked you may think it. However wicked you may think it. Again, we must consider religion is a matter of growth, not a mass of foolish words. 2000 years ago, a man saw God. Moses saw God in burning bush. Does what Moses did when he saw God save you? No, man seeing God can help you the least bit except that it may excite you and urge you to do the same thing. That is the whole value of the ancient examples, nothing more. Just signpost on the way. No man eating can satisfy another man. No man seeing God can save another man. You have to see God yourself. All these people fighting about what God nature is, whether he has three heads in one body or five heads in six bodies. Have you seen God? No. And they do not believe they can ever see him. What fools we mortals be. Sure, lunatics. In India, it has come down as a tradition that if there is a God, he must be your God and my God. To whom does the son belong? You say Uncle Sam is everybody's uncle. If there is a God, you ought to be able to see him. If not, let him go. Each one thinks his method is best, very good. But remember, it may be good for you. One food which is very digestible to one is very digestible to another. One food which is very indigestible to one is very digestible to other because it is good for you. Do not jump to the conclusion that your method is everybody's method, that Jack's coat fits John and Mary. All the uneducated, uncultured, unthinking men and the women have been put into the sort of straight jackets. Think for yourself. Become ethics. Become materialistics. That would be better. Exercise the mind. What kind of right you have you to say that this man's method is wrong? It may be wrong for you. That is to say, if you understand the method and you will be degraded. But that same does not mean that he will be degraded. Therefore, say Krishna, if you have knowledge and see a man weak, do not condemn him. Go to his level and help him if you can. He must grow. I can put 5 bucketful of knowledge into his head in 5 hours. But what good will it do? He will be a little worse than before. Whence comes all the bondage of action, because we chain the soul with action. According to our Indian system, there are two existences, nature on the one side and the self, that is the Atma, on the other side. By the word nature is meant not only all the external world, but also the bodies, the mind, the will, even down to say what we say has I. Beyond all that is the infinite life and light of the soul, the self, the Atma. According to this philosophy, the self is entirely separate from nature. Nature, Prakriti, and self, Atma. always was and always will be. There never was a time when the spirit come could be identified even with the mind. It is self-evident that food you eat is manufacturing the mind all the time. It is matter. The self is above any connection with food. Whether you eat or not does not matter. Whether you think or not does not matter. It is infinite light. Its light is the same always. If you put a blue or green glass before a light, what has that to do with the light? Its color is unchangeable. It is the mind which changes and gives the different colors. The moment the spirit leaves the body, the whole thing goes to pieces. The reality in nature is spirit. Reality itself, the light of the spirit, moves and speaks and does not everything through our bodies, minds, etc. It is the energy and soul and the life of spirit that has been worked upon in different ways of by matter. The spirit is the cause of all our thoughts and body actions and everything, but it is untouched by good or evil, pleasure or pain, heat or cold, and all the dualism of nature, although it lends its light to everything. Therefore, Arjun, all these actions are in nature. Nature is working out here own laws in our bodies and minds. We identify ourselves with nature and say, I am doing this. This way, delusion seizes us. We always act under some compulsion. When hunger compels me, I eat, and suffering is still worse slavery. That real I is eternally free. What can compel it to do anything? The sufferer is in the nature. It is only when we identify ourselves with the body that we say, I am suffering, I am Mr. So and so, are all such nonsense. But he who knows the truth holds himself aloof. Whatever his body does, whatever his mind does, whatever he does not care, or that he does not care. But mind you, the vast majority of mankind are under the delusion, and whenever they do any good, they feel that they are the doers. They are not yet able to understand higher philosophy. Do not disturb their faith. They are shunning sunking evils. They are sunking evil and doing good. Great idea. Let them have it. They are workers for good. By degrees they will think that there is greater glory than that is that of doing good. They will only witness and think things are done. Gradually they will understand. When they have sunk all evil and done all good, then they will begin to realize that they are beyond all nature. They are not the doers. They stand apart. They are the witnesses. They simply understand and look. Nature is begetting all the universe. They turn their backs. In the beginning, O beloved, there only existed the existence. Nothing else existed, and that brooding, everything else was created. Even those who know the path act impelled by their own nature. Everyone acts according to his nature. He whether he cannot transit it. The atom cannot disobey the law, whether it is mental or physical atom. It must obey the law. What is the use of external restraints? What makes the value of anything in life? Not enjoyment, not possession. Analyze everything. You will find there is no value except in experience to teach us something. And in many cases, it is our hardship that gives us better experience than enjoyment. Many times, blows give us better experience than the caresses of nature. Even famine has its place and value. According to Krishna, we are not new beings just come into existence. Our minds are not new minds. In modern times, we all know that every child brings with him all the past, not only the humanity, but of a plant life. There are all the past chapters and this present chapter and there are a whole lot of future chapters before him. Everyone has his faith, everyone has his path mapped and sketched and planned out for him. And in spite all this darkness, there cannot be anything uncaused, no event, no circumstances. It is simply our ignorance. The whole infinite chain of causation is bound, one link to another, back to nature. The whole universe is bound by that sort of chain. It is the universal chain of cause and effect. You receiving one chain link, one part, I another, and that part is our own nature. Now Krishna says, better die in your own path than attempt the path of another. This is my path, and I am down here, and you are way up there. And I am always tempted to give up my path, thinking I will go there and be with you. And if I go up, I am neither there nor here. We must not lose sight of this doctrine. It is all a matter of growth. Wait and grow, and you attain everything. Otherwise, there will be a great spiritual danger. Here is the fundamental secret of teaching religion. What do you mean by saving people and all believing in the same doctrine? It cannot be. There are the general ideas that can be taught to mankind. The truth teacher will be able to find out for you what your own nature is. Maybe you do not know it. It is possible that what you think is your own nature is all wrong. It has not developed to consciousness. The teacher is the person who ought to know. He ought to know by a glance at your face, and put you on your path. We group about and struggle here and there and do all sort of things and make no progress until the time comes when we fall into the life current and are carried on. The sign is that the moment we are in the stream we will float. Then there is no more struggle. This is to be found out. Then die in that path rather than giving it up and taking hold of another. Instead, we start a religion and make a set of dogmas and betray the goal of mankind and treat everyone as having the same nature. No two person have the same mind and the same body. No two person have the same religion. If you want to be religious, enter not the gate of any organized religion. They do 100 times more evil than good because they stop the growth of each one's individual development. Study everything, but keep your own seat firm. If you take my advice, do not put your neck into the trap. The moment they try to put their nose on you, you get your neck out and go somewhere else. As the bee culling honey from many flowers remains free, not bound by any flower, be not bound. Enter not the door of any organized religion. Religion is only between you and your God, and no third person must come between you. Think what this organized religion have done. What Napoleon was more terrible than this religious persecution. If you and I organize, we begin to hate every person. It is better not to love. If loving only means hating others, that is no love. That is hell. If loving your own people means hating everybody else, it is the quin- ins- quintessence of selfishness and brutality. And the effect is that it will make you brutes. Therefore, better die working out your own natural religion than following any other's natural religion, however great it may appear to you. Beware Arjun, lust and anger are the great enemies. These are to be controlled. These cover the knowledge even of those who are wise. This fire of lust is unquenchable. Its location is in the sense organs and in the mind. The self desires nothing. This yoga I taught in ancient times to Vivaswan. Vivaswan taught to Manu. Thus it was that the knowledge descended from one thing to another. But in time this great yoke was destroyed. That is why I am telling it to you again today. Then Arjun asked, why do you speak thus? You are a man born only the other day, and Vivaswan was born long before you. What do you mean that you taught him? Then Krishna says, O Arjun, you and I have run the cycle of birth and death many times, but you are not conscious of them all. I am without beginning, birthless, the absolute Lord of all creation. I, through my own nature, take forms. Whenever virtues subside and wickedness prevails, I come to help mankind, for the salvation of the good, for the destruction of the wickedness, for the establishment of spirituality. I come from time to time. Whosoever wants to reach me through whatsoever way, I reach him through that. But now, Arjun, none can ever swear from my path. None ever did. How can we? How can we? None swears from his path. All societies are based upon bad generalization. The law can only be formed up to perfect generalization. What is the old saying? Every law has its explanation. If it is a law, it cannot be broken. None can break it. Does the apple break the law of gravitation? The moment the law is broken, no more universe exists. There will come a time when you will break the law, and that moment your consciousness, mind, body will melt away. There is a man stealing here, there. There is a man stealing there. Why does he steal? You punish him. Why can you not make room for him and put his energy to work? You say, you are a sinner, and many will say he has broken the law. All these hordes of mankind is forced into uniformity, and hence all the troubles, sin, and weakness. The world is not as bad as you think. It is we fool who have made it evil. We manufacture our own ghosts and demons, and then we cannot get out own then we cannot get rid of them. We put our hands before our eyes and cry, somebody give us light. Fools, take off your hands from your eyes. That is all there is to do. We call upon the gods to save us, and nobody blames himself. That is the pity of it. Why is there no much evil in society? What is it, they say? Flesh and devils and the humans. Why make these things up? Nobody asks you to make them up. None, Arjun, none. Oh Arjun, can sweep from my path. Oh Arjun, can sweep from my path. We are fools, and our paths are foolish. We have to go through all this Maya. God made the heaven, and man made the hell for himself. No action can touch me. I have no desire for the result of action. Whosoever knows me thus knows the secret and is not bound by action. The ancient sages, knowing this secret, could safely engage in action. Do thou walk in the same fashion. He who sees in the midst of the intense activity, intense calmness, and in the midst of the intense peace is intensely active, is wise indeed. This is the question. With every sense and every organ active, have you that tremendous peace so that nothing can disturb you? Standing on Market Street, waiting for the car with all the rushes going on around you. Are you in meditation, calm and peaceful? In the cave, are you intensely active? There with all quiet about you. If you are a yogi, otherwise not. The seer calls him a wise, whose every attempt is free, without any desire for gain, without any selfishness. Truth can never come to us as long as we are selfish. We color everything with our own sleeves. Things come to us as they are, not that they are hidden, not at all. We hide them. We have the bush. A thing comes and we do not like it, and we bush a little and then look at it. We do not want to know. We paint everything with ourselves. In all action, the motive power is selfishness. Everything is hidden by ourselves. We are like the caterpillar which takes the thread out of his own body and of that makes a cocoon. And behold, he is caught. And behold, he is caught. By his own work, he imprisoned himself. That is what we are doing. The moment I say me, the thread makes a turn. I and mine, another turn, and so it goes on. We cannot remain without action for a moment. Act, but just as when your neighbor asks you, come and help me, have you exactly the same idea when you are helping yourself? No more. Your body is of no more value than that of John. Don't do anything more for your body than you do for John. That is religion. He whose efforts are bereft of all desire and selfishness has burnt all the bondage of action with the fire of knowledge. He is wise. Reading books cannot do that. The ass can be burnt with the whole library. Reading many books. The ass can be burned with the whole library. That does not make him learn at all. What is the use of reading many books? Giving up all attachment to work, always satisfied, not hoping for gain. The wise man acts and is beyond action. Naked I came out of the mother's womb, and naked I return. Helpless I came and helpless I go. Helpless I am now, and we do not know the goal. It is terrible for us to think about it. We get such odd ideas. We go to a medium and see if the ghost can help us. Then of the weakness, ghost, devil, God, anybody come on. And all the priests, all the charlatans, that is just the time they get hold of us. The moment we are weak, then they bring in all the gods. I say in my country, a man becomes strong, educated, becomes a philosopher, and say all these prayers and bathing is nonsense. And says all this praying and bathing is nonsense. The man's father dies and his mother dies. That is the most terrible shock a Hindu can have. You will find him bathing in every dirty pool, going into temple, licking the dust, helping anyone. But we are helpless. There is no help from anyone. That is the truth. There have been more gods than human beings, and yet no help. We die like a dog, no help. Everywhere, beast famine, disease, misery, evil, and all are crying for help, but no help. And yet, hoping against hope, we are still screaming for help. Oh, the miserable condition! Oh, the terror of it! Look into your own heart. One half of the trouble is not our fault, but the fault of our parents. One half of the trouble our fault, is not our fault, but the fault of our parents. Born with this weakness, more and more of it was put into our head. Step by step, we go beyond it. It is a tremendous error to feel helpless. Do not seek help from anyone. We are our own help. If we cannot help ourselves, there is none to help us. Thou thyself art thy only friends. Thou thyself thy only enemy. There is no other enemy but this self of mine. No other friend by myself. This is the last and the greatest lesson, and oh, what a time it takes to learn it. We seem to get hold of it, and next moment the old wave comes. The backbone breaks, we weaken and again grasp for the superstition and help. Just think of the huge mass of misery and all the caused by this false idea of going to seek for help. Possibly the priest says his routine works and expect something. 60,000 people look to the skies and pray and pay the priest. Month after month, they still look, still pay and pray. Think of that. Is it not lunacy? What else is it? Who is responsible? Who may preach religion, but to excite the minds of developed children? Who you will have to suffer for that in your heart of hearts. What are you? For every weakening thought you have put into anybody's head, you will have to pay with compound interest. The law of karma must have its pound of flesh. There is only one sin, that is weakness. When I was a boy, I read Milton's Paradise Lost. The only good man I had any respect for was Satan. The only saint is that soul that never weakens, faces everything and determines to the die games. Stand up and die game. Do not add one lunacy to another. Do not add your weakness to the evil that is going to come. That is all I have to say to the world. Be strong. You talk of ghosts and devils. We are the living devils. The sign of life is strength and growth. The sign of death is weakness. Whatever is weak, avoid. It is death. If it is strength, go down into hell and get hold of it. There is salvation only for the brave. None but the brave deserves the fair. None but the brave deserves the salvation. Whose hell, whose torture, whose sin, whose weakness, whose death, whose disease? You believe in God. If you do, believe in the real God. Thou art the man, thou the woman, thou the young man, walking in the strength of youth. Thou the old man, tottering with his tricks. Thou art weakness, thou art fear. Thou art hell, heaven, thou art health. Thou art the serpent that would sting. Thou and come, thou hast fear. Come thou hast death, come thou hast misery. All weakness, all bondage is imagination. Speak on one word to it. It must vanish. Do not weaken. There is no other way out. Stand up and be strong. No fear, no superstition. Face the truth as it is. If that becomes, that is the worst of our miseries. Let it come. We are determined to die game. That is all the religion I know. I have not attained to it, but I am struggling to do it. I may not, but you may. Go on. Where one sees another, one hears another. So long as there are two, there must be fear, and fear is another of all misery. Where none sees another, where it is all one, then is none of to be miserable, none to be unhappy. There is only the one without a second. Therefore be not afraid. Therefore be not afraid. Awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached. Awake, arise, and stop